All right, welcome to last slide news. Matters arising between the whole of the day and yesterday till today. Okafor, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, sorry, Malam Okafor.
Yeah,
yes.
You're doing better.
Philip, always looking, that's kind of British smile, you know, just
fake smile.
Fake smile.
That's the way we roll.
That's the way we roll. Okay, you're John Okafor's click, right? Okay. All right, a lot of things in the news, but will I say on a sad or rejoicing note, a man that has completed his task, I guess, 81 years old preacher Uma Ukpai, a humble man that we've all known from a long time. There are a lot of things that interest me about that man, a lot. He was not shy talking about how he committed fornication and the church expelled him, not using grace. He was also not shy about so many things in the church. A man that we never saw any branch of his church any other place, but he had a great impact worldwide. Okafor, what do you have to say?
You know, when people do what they preach, their preaching tend to have impact the more. You know, without using this opportunity to start throwing jabs at Christianity or any religion at that, I think Uma Ukpai are those who thought that their legacy accumulated while living. You know, a lot of people think that they will live a different life. Immediately they die, everybody starts singing their praise. So they are not cautious of what they do while alive. But Uma Ukpai, as a man of God and as a human being, was very cautious of what he was doing while alive. He lived a selfless life. He lived for people. These are the early people that should have used whatever mechanism to enrich themselves, you know. And but he wasn't doing that. He was a generous person to the best we know, and all that, and a selfless person. You know, we have this story that he said that he lost the kids, and he said, "I'm going for this evangelism, a crusade. I must go and do it." How selfless can somebody be? Do you know what it means to lose a child? It's not a joke. I think that should be the greatest pain on earth. But he said, "Oh, I must finish this God's work."
He could have cancelled it.
He could have cancelled it.
And it would be
a lot. Even those, let's not mention it. Somebody cancelled not up to 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Even when he was preaching the next week, he was hailing himself. But Uma Ukpai was.
Philip, Uma Ukpai, let's say a legendary preacher, preached till he passed on, always on point. Like I said, one of the things that interests me most is that I'm not against people having branches of churches wherever they want to, but his impact didn't show in him having branches of churches everywhere. He had his church in one place, but he was a world evangelist.
Yes, that's the aspect I loved about this man. This man is a man who believes in the youth generation. Why do I say so? He's always on campuses. Instead of busy establishing branches all over the country, rather he go to the campus and evangelize them, just catch them young and put them on the path of God. And that's what he does all his life. I think his life is an exemplary life he had lived. I think other preachers and evangelists should take a clue from it. It's not too late for them to take correction. It is not by establishing, branches all over the world, like he said, that would make your legacy be fair. It is what you give to the world that you will be remembered for. Uma Ukpai had given to the world that, look, there's gain in living a selfless life for Christ, and there's gain for reaching out to the young one and preaching Christ to them while they are very, very young, because the campuses are very volatile places where youth go astray, and he used it as a target to reach the youth so that they won't go astray. I think it should be well remembered by his his own style of evangelism even after now.
Okay, for one other specific thing about him was the fact that you never really hear him come out to criticize other pastors.
No, certainly.
Because it looks as if the bane of things, this pastor talk, but you never. Uma Ukpai was up and about doing his father's job. I mean, saving soul, miracles in his ministry, and like what Philip said just now, always make sure he's catching them young. He never spoke about whether it's Papa Idaosa or Ayo Richard or people of that his clique, or even the younger ones criticizing them. No, anybody could invite him to come and preach, and he delivers on his mandate.
You know, the work is actually enormous. You know, if you really understand the enormity of the work to be done by men of God, you wouldn't even have time to be criticizing another person that is working. You know, except where you probably see the person is doing something that is against the scripture.
Yeah.
You can even write a letter to the person or call the person. You know, I think this should be this according to the Bible, not according to what you think. You know, but like I said, the job is enormous, and he's very focused at that, and he delivered. He delivered. No, we're not just saying this because he's dead.
Exactly.
The testimonies are there. You know, he's not like you said, he's not even looking at what other people are doing. He's looking at his calling.
Yeah.
So, and he lived exemplary life. I just hope the people who have today as ministers should focus on their mandate and deliver.
Philip, what do you think that young ministers that are coming up, like what Okafor said just now, that they should focus on their calling and forget another person? You see, the field is wild. A lot of things Jesus Christ did that we could relate with. For example, Jesus Christ put a spit on the ground and molded the sand and put into the man's socket, right? Now, when he wanted to also provide fish, what he did was that he said, does anybody, he could have just called for fish and said, fish come, fish will come. No, he said, there's a little boy's lunch. There are different ways people can heal people. It doesn't have to be according to one way. What should a young minister get from Uma Ukpai?
The first thing is, these young ministers, are they really sure they are called by God? If they are sure they are called by God, like he said, keep to that calling. Stop looking sideways. Because the moment you start looking sideways, you will miss the goal. Because we found out that today, it's very common that we are the prophet of sons, are based sons prophet and all of that. It's like you are going into, you know, what you claim to be your spiritual father and learn how he does things. That is not calling. From the man we are talking about, Dr. Uma Ukpai, we don't see, he had never mentioned any spiritual father any day. He only had one father, a heavenly father, God, and Jesus Christ, his Lord and Savior. And that is the only man he make reference to. You young preacher, stop going about with spiritual father. Focus on God if you know you are called by God, and stay on your mandate. Then heaven will answer you.
Okafor, before I let you go on this, there's something that Uma Ukpai talks about, miraculous provision from God. But we didn't see Uma Ukpai talk about money every day.
No. I was telling people, so people don't understand that we say there is no miracle. There is miracle.
Yes.
But look at all the miracles that Jesus Christ provided. Okay. Let me just say a significant amount of it. Let me not just say, a restorative miracle. You were supposed, as a human being, you are supposed to be walking, rise up and walk, but you are crippled.
Yeah.
That's not the normal thing. Restoring you to normal, where devil has shortchanged you. That is the ministry. Not to fabricate something from nowhere, miracle money from nowhere. Do you understand? So, apart from the creative portion of turning fishes, there was fishes to turn into more fishes and more.
And he wasn't doing it every day.
It wasn't every day. And it was also to feed those who are hungry, because you are supposed to have food and there is no food. Restorative, where devil has shortchanged you, there's going to be a miracle, there's going to be uplifting, and there's going to be a resurrection power that will come upon you, and you shall be restored, because that's the normal way God has created that you should live. And when you are restored, you are capable of cooking, you are capable of eating, you're capable of doing those things which God himself has created, that this is where it should be. God will not go against himself. So, but these days, it appears miracle means reaping where you didn't sow. Meanwhile, Bible said that whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap. And he said, as far as the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest shall never cease. You don't want to sow, you want to harvest. So, when we try to talk about those things, they don't get it. They begin to find grace. Grace is about having too many people who will be working and feeding you. Who are those slaves? When even Jesus' ministration is about the gospel of freedom to all. So I don't know who you are planning to come and labor. Laziness is being celebrated as grace these days because of misunderstanding, and a lot of people are pushing that. Truth is that if you go into all the miracles of Jesus Christ, look into what Uma Ukpai them and co are doing, there is miracle, no doubt. If you are sick, you got your healing, is miracle. Do you understand? Though if you're lame and you walk, it's miracle. Those are restorative. Not I have 2 hands now, suddenly I have 4 hands. That's abnormal. It's not within the nature of God. God himself is nature.
Finally on Uma Ukpai, we've seen how he suffered the loss of his children, but his faith was never waived. He never left to his focus was on God. Now everything we do today, it looks as if it's transactional. Maybe the reason we pray is because of God to give to us. The reason we fast is because of God to give to us. But God said, I've given you all things already. And knowing that in Christ we don't lose. Even Uma Ukpai's children passed, that means they also went faster to heaven. Knowing that rapture happens to people every day. Now, a lot of people base their belief or their love for God because of what he can do for them. But that was not Uma Ukpai's gospel.
Yes, you see, the gospel is clear. There's no 2 gospels on earth. There's one gospel of Jesus Christ, and that's what Uma Ukpai stands by, and that's what he preaches. The gospel of Christ is that it's a heavenly race run by every individual. His children passed all of that, but he believes and he understands where he is going and what he is doing. The gospel is about living right. Every other is an addition, and it's very clear in the book of Matthew. It says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and every other thing shall be added unto you. It didn't say when you come to God, then you can start asking for that. You see, that is, if you look at Uma Ukpai's life, this word of Jesus Christ is what he stood by all through his life, that he seeking first the kingdom of God. That's what he was seeking. Even when he lost his children and all of that, he didn't lose focus. He was very focused. And today we are all speaking about his positive side, and I haven't seen anyone that has spoken about negatively about it, because he will first of all condemn himself before the world. So you have nothing to condemn about him. In your opening speech, you said he confessed to the whole world how he go astray and how he find his way back. I think that should be a guiding principle to each and every one of us going forward.
All right, he has come, he has lived, and he has gone. That's the best thing to do. He makes sure he was spent. Bible says we should spend and be spent for him. Uma Ukpai leave that kind of a legacy. We pray that God will comfort the family and also the body of Christ, knowing too well that he has gone to be with the Lord. All right, as we move away from Uma Ukpai, the Obedient movement reacts to talks between Obi and Jonathan. The Obedient movement is one of the most vibrant movements you can find anywhere, and they are never dull when things happen for them to speak. Okafor.
Yeah, when you have a movement that is anchored on a personality that characterizes certain things. Obi characterizes frugality in spending. When you talk about Nigerian politicians, Obi characterizes doing what he said he is going to do. Obi characterizes peace. You can imagine the kind of result sheets that turn out in 2023, where a lot of them coming out from different states. We see them using pen to turn 3 to 8. They use speed to clean some from River State. You see them, and they have the boldness to upload that. And the man who is significantly at the recipient end of it didn't react violently. He calmed his followers. So Obi epitomizes those things that most young ones are looking at. Yes, he has not had opportunity to show that as a president. He has been able to do that as a governor, and the records are there. He was also before then able to do it as a businessman, and the records are there. So because of that, these young ones don't seem to see any other solution or any other person that can bring these things, to the federal level without thinking of Obi. That is why even when the news is coming out that Jonathan is coming on board, certainly Jonathan won't be running and Obi will be running. So because these two people are very, very close, like Dr. Tanko said, they have good working relationship, but there's no officially written part per se to say that if Jonathan runs, Obi will not run. So when this kind of thing happens, you are going to expect that Obidients are going to say, no, Jonathan, not that they think Jonathan is not good, not that they think Jonathan won't perform better than what they are seeing. As a matter of fact, people believe and know that he has performed in some indices before a lot better. Insecurity wasn't bad like this when Jonathan was the president. We didn't have a fluctuation of prices of things when he was the president. We're not buying fuel at 900 and something when Jonathan was the president. A lot of things. Granted, the economy has moved upwards since then, but it wasn't in this scale. So when they look at that, yes, they know this man Jonathan has records that can make even APC jittery as they've been since the news of Jonathan started making the rounds. But the real Obidients still can't come to terms that you want to prevent to be by any means, arrangement, agreement, resolution, whatever name you like, call it, and Obi will not run for election as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2027. This stimuli is not working well with them.
Philip, the Obidients feels that this is the time, this is the opportunity, that nothing should deter Obi from running for president, not even President Goodluck Jonathan. What's your take?
You see, the Obidient movement per se, they are very active, they are very aggressive, but I have something against them. They are too emotional. Because what are they reacting to? That there's a rumor or there's a saying that Obi and Jonathan had a pact. If they believe Obi so much, has Obi, informed them that he has a pact with Jonathan that will lead to his not running? And if they have a pact, what is the details of the pact? Is it for Obi benefit, or for Jonathan's benefit,
or for the nation's
benefit? So sometimes when the Obidients react emotionally to issues of national discourse and interest, I begin to wonder if they think governance or politics is all about emotions. Not at all. So yes, I agree to their, I like their vibrancies and then their enthusiasm towards Obi becoming president. But is it that they want to become president, that just may go, or they want Nigeria to be better? Is it that they are looking for good governance, or they are looking for Obi as a president? They should ask themselves some salient question that they fail to answer. Because Obi could have part with any other person. This is how it also go when the rumor, when it was, it came out of the news that Obi with Erufai are having some relationship. So they also reacted negatively, and they, without realizing the fact that Obi part with every other person could lead Obi to the presidency easier and better than leaving it for them alone to carry on. Because they tried it in 2023. What is the result? What do they achieve? So the Obidient movement, as of today, they should grow mature. They should know that Nigeria is a country, it's not a one-man business. That a lot of interests that are involved. For you to become a president of this country, for you to win election, you have met and part with so many people. The good, the ugly, the bad, they all need to come together, because Nigeria is not a country of the saint alone, neither country of the wicked, the righteous, the bad, the good, the witches, the wizard, the Muslim, the Christian, the African tradition, and all of that. They make up Nigeria. So you need to, everybody interested has to be involved. You have to be total inclusiveness. So Obi having, whether Obi had part with Jonathan or not, because it's not in any way to say that they had part. They only had a meeting and then they are reacting. So it's so funny. I think they should grow up. For crying out loud.
Okay, for the Obidients are about Obi.
Yeah.
It doesn't look as if they are about Nigeria. I think the first thing is Nigeria first. Whether Christians, Muslims.
No. I don't think that is completely true. Obedient, from what we've known and what we've seen, Obedient is about Obi being the president of Nigeria. So you can't remove the Nigeria as part of the aspiration. Obedients are not clamoring for their state of their own. Obedients are not clamoring for Obi to be anything. They are not clamoring for Obi to be the United Nations Secretary General. They are not clamoring for Obi to be the Commonwealth Secretary General. They are clamoring for Obi to be the president of Nigeria. So you can't remove Nigeria for the question.
Okay.
So you can't say it's all about Obi. It's about Obi.
Even with clamoring, we are still going to continue on that trajectory.
Yeah.
Even if Obi becomes president, what they should be thinking about is how Nigeria can come up good. If the Obedient and the Goodluck Jonathan come close rank and look for a path of how to salvage this country.
That is the emotion you are talking about. Okay, no. So look at it. When you are bound by emotion, it is the closest energy to you. Do you understand? So you become biased in any way. Yeah, but it's not correct to depict that Obedients are not interested in Nigeria. It's actually their interest in Nigeria that superimpose that affinity with Peter Obi himself. And as you can see, they need to have a greater picture of how Nigeria could also function should Obi not be the candidate, because Obi himself has categorically said it many times that he's desperate to see Nigeria work, but he's not desperate to be president. And you can't clearly say that Obedients are not going to follow Obi. One thing I can tell you is, if Obi endorses anybody, particularly in this case Jonathan, granted, all Obedients are not going to vote, but a substantial amount of Obedients are going to vote, because they do know that Obi and Jonathan has a synchronym that separates them from what APC is doing. APC came on board, not just let's leave Asiwaju government alone and move backward.
Yeah.
They came 2013, 2014, being given a level playing ground to come together, merge, form a merger, change a name, bring a new name of a party called APC. We are not saying that now. Jonathan epitomizes peace and freedom, which is democracy. And as at that time, we saw that elections were counting. Joga never met or have any antecedents with Jonathan before he was appointed. So Obedients are not all emotional for nothing, because emotion, a lot of things, there is a positive and negative emotion. People are tired. Nigerians are desperate. People are using their last strength, and from all indications, among all those they can see, these people have right to say this is the person we trust that can do this job. It's their right to say that this is the person we trust that can do the job. So now that Jonathan is coming in, that person they trust that can do the job has a duty, if it ends up happening. Like Philip have always said, pre-election, since Jonathan left, we have always heard the news that Jonathan wants to run. Before you know, he will not run. Jonathan wants to run. Before you know, he will not run. So it's not even clear that he's going to run. But if that happens and Obi takes it on himself to educate his follower that the same destination we're going is this. Remember, I've told you I'm not desperate to be president, but this one can work. We can get freedom, in our ability to choose whoever that rules us, restoring sanity into our electoral system and all that, and stabilize the economy and all that, and hopefully separate the goat from the yam, like Jonathan has always said. Some Obedients are going to follow.
Let me put a little bit destructive question to you.
Yeah.
Do you think Jonathan will run? And let me give you some level playing ground to think that way.
Yeah.
Jonathan came up in Benin and said that he was betrayed by so many people.
Yeah.
Later he came and reframed and said, I have forgiven them.
Yeah.
Jonathan came up and said that the Boko Haram group or terrorist group chose Buhari as the mediator.
Late president.
The late president as the mediator. Of course, we know that Jonathan, the late president, as Buhari, didn't accept there being their mediator.
Yeah.
But he also now came up again trying to do some little damage control, which I think that's what he's doing, and said he defeated Boko Haram to an extent.
Yes, certainly.
With all these ones, do you think Jonathan will run?
You know, Jonathan is a Nigerian, and he clearly he has one more tenure to serve. So the only thing that is not too clear, Jonathan can run.
Okay.
Just know that nothing's stopping him.
No, you didn't understand my question.
I'm coming.
Do you understand my question?
That's your question is drawing.
No, I said, do you think Jonathan will run?
Yeah, we are doing the thinking. I know you don't want us to think. Jonathan can run, but let me sound warning.
Yes.
Truth remains that the core north for some time has been asking for Jonathan.
Yeah.
And his greatest base in this election is
the
not. A lot of obedience are going to follow. Forget about what we are talking about.
That's if he choose to
If
run.
he choose to run, a lot of Southerners are going to follow. But what Jonathan might not be very comfortable with, like people are saying, is running under PDP. Because Jonathan might think that a lot of those traitors are still there. Do you understand? And also, to a large extent, the PDP before now had been demarcated in the north. So it's going to take a lot of work. So Jonathan coming to run is going to take more work than we are seeing. Yeah, we are looking at. So even when PDP house is in order, that house that is in order, so he needs to reevaluate it. If he said they betrayed me, who betrayed? Is it outsider that betrayed you? It means your own people.
Most of them from the north.
Yeah, so he's still going to reevaluate if it is that caucus or PDP or different sets now, or who are those new people that I'm going to work with. So before deciding to run, he's going to make those calculations. Sure, it looks very
dicey.
Very, not necessarily dicey. It looks promising for him to run because APC has not made it better. Buhari came and all the things they said after promising everything, they turned out to tell us that the change starts with you and not them. You know
what did they promise?
Yeah. $1 to £1.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let me put this last question from Jonathan to you. Do you think he's going to run? And do you think he should run? So two questions. Do you think he's going to run? And do you think he should run?
You know, Malam Okafor has quoted me saying that Jonathan is known for showing early signs of running. And when it matters most, he throws in the towel. So whether Jonathan is going to run or not, it is his own decision. It's an adult. But whether he will run, it is his right. It is fundamental human right to run. Now, the second question.
Do you think he should run?
I think he should run. Yes, it's dicey. Do I think Jonathan should run? Or do I think Jonathan shouldn't run? Because that's what the question is. You see, I cannot say specifically that I think Jonathan should run. But what I can say here is that any qualified Nigerian that had Nigerian interests at heart, which Jonathan is one of them, which most Nigerians feel, like I am in Nigeria, that I feel that Jonathan coming to the race will be better for Nigeria. I feel so. But I don't, it is not of me to say Jonathan should, I can't think that he should run. But I feel he should run because he has all it takes to run. One of the reasons is that he has a scorecard. He has something we can point at. Like every other person that is showing the, showing interest. Apart from Tinubu also, who also has something that he can point at. Jonathan is the next person. Obi does not have anything that he can point at as a president or former president. Atiku had nothing to point at as a president or as a former president. He can't point to anything that is as a vice president. So for me, I feel Jonathan, if you think he wants to run, he should run because he has something to present, to market to the people.
Okay, all right. You're more elusive than I thought. The Malam felt better. He was quite a little bit on it. All right, let's move away from Jonathan a little bit. ASUU. We have had this persistent ASUU issues for more than 2 to 3 decades. Since we were in school, there have been ASUU problem. I think there was a particular session I stayed at home for one full session. I'm not just talking about the 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
There was a particular session. In fact, a stretch, one session. I was in school, I was at home because of ASUU. The same ASUU still persists till today. One of the things President the current president, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, told us was the fact that we will not have one ASUU strike one day. But that doesn't seem to be a prophecy that has come to pass. ASUU's going on strike today.
You know, each time this thing comes up, I try to use this opportunity to discuss the dynamism that we should be looking towards as a nation. So we don't end up doing this as subsidy is gone and all our school will be closed.
Yeah.
Truth remains that this is a presidential system. When you look back, the population and of people in schools, or the number of federal colleges that the federal government need to cater for, is growing by the day. Number of students are growing by the day. Do you understand? And all these things revolves on the federal government being the supervisor and the worker. You know, in some cases and in some government is working, but if we are looking at America, that's not what they are doing. I think issues of public schools should go to state governments and private sector. You know, let government fund students. Let me tell you, I think we should adopt a model. The idea is for children to be educated, right?
Yes.
I think you should give the money to the person that is hungry and let the person buy food from whatever he likes locally. Do you understand? So this money I give you, you must buy from any of the local restaurants. Then for you to be giving this, you pass your jam this, you do this. But now if you give the money to somebody who is cooking the food,
he can cook rubbish.
He can cook rubbish. He can cook whatever he likes. So this model is updated for us based on our population growth and the increase in what we can do at this moment. If you have that unlimited money, yes, we can. But because other infrastructures are lacking, we don't have endless budget. Because if you look down now, there's a report that 50 billion was allocated to 2025 as revitalization fund for tertiary institutions, while the issues of promotion areas would be captured in 2026. It's not like nothing is being done, because this has been accumulated over time. It is time to look at these things and have a national policy of funding the student instead of the school. The school we have. Let me tell you, what is the research income? What income are these schools making from industry, from research? Go to universities abroad. Proportion of their income come from research investment. The schools that is not serving the industry is almost irrelevant. If the industry doesn't have value in what you're doing, it's almost irrelevant. So we need to gradually do it, so we don't, one president don't just come up one day and say subsidy is gone and everything is crashed. Because in Nigeria we agreed that at some point this subsidy had to go, but we needed to plan for them. We have go to America. The only school you might see are federal schools, are naval schools, West Point, military schools, but there's no university, regular university owned by federal government. Not one.
Though there's a disparity between the Ivy schools.
Those are private schools. Yeah. They are private schools. The big school, land grant school, the big schools, Penn State, I'm an alumnus of Penn State. The big schools are owned by state government. You understand? They're owned by state government. So the states can do that. The federal should start like NDA, things like that, custom training school, transportation, specialized schools and all that, so that they can become smaller. Let me tell you why this is even much more necessary. Trace corruption in Nigeria. I'm not saying private people don't steal. The corruption you are going to find in MTN is not the type you are going to find in our starters.
No.
It's not. So that we can muzzle up our money more efficiently. Let there be smaller government. But this should be done by policy in such a way that these big schools have infrastructure. They have physical infrastructures. It's just for them to know how to use them. They are proportionate. Feed the person that is hungry, not just giving only money to who is going to cook the restaurants. At some point, that model might not serve this nation the way we are growing, and particularly the way we don't. Our public waste is too high. Had it been, we have a very tight-fisted public trust that can be managed, like in, I'm not saying we should kill a corrupt person, like in China where they kill you if you are corrupt. That can work in Nigeria.
So why you say we should not kill corrupt people?
We don't have such laws there.
Philip, we have private school dotted all over the place. I mean, here and there. I mean, and they are all doing well. We've never heard that Covenant University went on strike. We never heard that Benedict University went on strike. We never heard that. We name all the schools. They are all striving and they are all doing well. The Minister for Education, I read the excerpt, he said that most of these private schools are doing well, that there should be a transfer. I think that's what it's trying to say. Do you agree that this system, this problem that has persisted over a long period of time, there should be a revisit to this educational system?
Certainly, yes. You know, at some point, I think one of the issues raised by ASUU in those days, I think during our time, was that the university should be autonomous. They should be self-sustaining. Even as at today, like he said, even in the Western world, the state universities they are self-sustaining. They do business for themselves. They generate their revenue. They have foreign students where they can generate revenue and all of that. I think I want to agree with Malamoka for completely that, look, this university should be productive. In fact, the ASUU strike is becoming a nightmare to this country. What is ASUU even doing for us? Because the ASUU had not brought anything new to the educational system, because it's garbage in, garbage out. The lecturer, the hand that they gave to us, they are still giving to our children today. Well, how has that helped the nation? So I think the educational policy should be reviewed. I am of the opinion that even the state university and the federal university should be self-sustaining. They should be autonomous. The management of the school should find a way of funding themselves, so that if they want to pay themselves more, they should be more entrepreneurial, so that they can generate funds, so that increment they are asking for, if they make more money for themselves, they can pay themselves well, instead of waiting for handout from the federal government. They are university, for crying out loud. They are the home of research, home of invention. That's what they're supposed to be. How many things have they invented from Nigerian universities? Every day we see new universities springing up. Nothing new. The only thing that is new university. So everything is in name. And
let me tell you, you see, this model is different from what we call basic education, secondary school.
Yes.
If you live abroad, you find out that, you know, secondary education is virtually free.
They say not to go to a private university.
Because they believe that after that secondary education, at that time, whatever you are going to do with your life is an investment. So if you are not that strong academically, you don't need to go to Unilag. Just find a way to write, find a way to go, because degree is a national anthem here. It's not a national anthem. America is just only 24% of American population that are graduates.
Yes.
Only 24%. This America. It's only 24% of America that are graduates. So when you are done with your secondary school, if you think that if I give you loan today, for example, I'm using the word loan, I give you money.
The best thing to do
to invest yourself in school, then you can go to school.
All right.
But if you think it's another thing that you would want to do, maybe business or whatever, you can go do those things.
I think one of the issues we've had for a very long time is that we are too stereotyped, and when we take one course, we take that cost. I mean, I normally tell people, a lot of people in the airline industries, most of them didn't go to university. Most of them,
yes,
whether the engineers or the pilots,
yes.
You know, the university they went to was a fixed one, which is
training. Specifically trained for that.
Whether you are a purser, a cabin crew, whatever that you are. But that's why we'll stop it for now. We'll be back in a minute after this message. All right, a little bit away from the education, ASUU and all their story, but they just said Nigerians are hungry and the governors are busy defecting. Peter, welcome.
Thank you.
But it's George. Let's look at what he said. He said there's hunger and anger, and some governors are joining APC. I mean, does it make sense?
It doesn't at all. It baffles me how our politicians in this country. And look at it critically, you will see there's why the move? Is it because this government is doing well? Is it because they have achieved their set goals? What is the traction there? If not for self-preservation, you move to a better house. You don't move from a steady house to a house that has leaking roof. This government has not done anything. But the judge is right about this. Most of these state governors are dropping. What have they done for their people? Yes, they will be hitting on federal government. They have increased revenue now. What have they done with that increased revenue? Other than pile it off for waiting for this election. They are moving because they are not sure of their scorecard as a governor. If you done well, yeah, people want you back. They want to re-elect you. Like Malakawa used to say, see, re-election and election are two different things. Re-election, you come with a scorecard. Election, you make us promises. If you're going in, you make us promises. After 4 years, we want to look at those promises you made us. Want to see a scorecard. These people, their scorecard cannot guarantee them next election. That's why they're jumping ship. Nigeria today, that you have so much insecurity, our children are out of school. I think I was discussing about us going on strike. Those doesn't bother them. What bothers them is their self-preservation for them to remain in office. Not because this APC has done well. It's just for their self. I don't know why our politics in Nigeria is played this way. Self first, not service. What happened in Nigeria here is leaders. It's rulers, not leaders. They rule, they don't lead by example. If an election leading by example, it should criticize this government for impoverishing Nigeria. This government has brought on this hardship. Why are you joining them? Why?
Okay, all right. Okafo, but the judge story, he said people are hungry and angry.
Yeah.
Now we've seen from the south, we've seen Obori Wori, governor of Delta State, and Governor Eno of Akwa Ibom State move to the APC. These were traditionally PDP states.
Yeah.
Now we are hearing of Governor Diri of Bayelsa State and Governor Uba of Enugu State, which a lot of people adjured to an extent that he was doing well. Why are they jumping ship? Does it increase the allocation that go to their state?
To be candid with you, I'm not certain the philosophy or method that ASUU might be deploying for 2027. Tomorrow is mystery. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Because but the judge said something in the Navy. Jumping ship, it's allowed, but there are conditions to that. I mean, your own ship, something must be wrong with it, and the ship you are jumping into, you must ensure that your rope is tight and firm. Yes. Otherwise, you are not going to get into the next destination and something can go wrong. And the rope that ties you to any safe measure is the people, which is the vote. I don't know how this might help us because I'm so certain if these governors could conduct a poll, a sincere poll, within their voters, the people in their constituencies, and say, do I move to APC or do I remain with you? I think clearly that the people might say, remain where we are. We have not seen much difference from APC. Meaning that, but the judge is probably right, these governors are doing this on their own and hoping that the people will follow them. Yes, they are not completely wrong. Our people are not as politically educated as you might think. A lot of them are also going to work for this governor. Yes, should they remain in the ruling party? But the transition is not going to be as smooth as the federal government is thinking. That a governor moved to your party,
ruling power.
Yeah, the governor moved to APC at this time might mean nothing, because between now and 2027, a lot is going to happen. A lot is going to happen. And the funny thing is that most of these people moving to APC, they can't show you the APC membership card. I am from Delta State. A lot of them moved on paper. They moved on that day, that euphoria celebration. They are not registered with APC. They are not registered with APC. And this is worrisome. And I think ASUU should roll out a measure of ensuring that they should show where they are standing.
But he said he enjoys it seeing other parties come down.
I mean, are they really coming down? Let me tell you, they can be deceptively coming down. Okay, in that a lot of them don't want EFCC pressure. They don't want, not aligning with the federal. No need time to fight. What's going to happen to 2027 is going to happen in 2026 ending.
But Balam Mohammed, the governor and leader of the PDP, I mean, is the Governors Forum leader, says that he said bad radiance to good rubbish, that they are weeding them out.
Not. I don't think that is actually the way to go about it. But that is Bala's way. I think Asiwaju way is almost welcoming to me by trying to appeal to those rather than abuse them or disregard them. Let me tell you, I'm coming. Atiku and Okowa did it, and he failed them. To hell with Wike, blah, blah. What happened? A governor cannot be leaving your party, and democracy is about numbers. And you said
you will look at it that, let's say Wike was provoked.
Yeah,
but these guys are not
I understand clearly, yes, but I'm just telling you that inclusiveness has no limit. Appeal has no limit, and the choice of words also matter. And in as much as they are not in your shoes, you don't know what that governor has. A lot of these people are friends before politics. You don't know under what circumstance. Do you understand? I think being positive and trying to be inclusive, calling them to come back home and not do that in a more positive manner, I think it will pay you better than trying to discard them. Because if you discard every other person, only you can do the work. No matter, let me tell you, for everybody PDP leaves, only Bala cannot do the work.
I don't think it's discarding them. I think they've appealed to these people.
What I'm saying, there is endless appeal.
And the dates.
There's no endless appeal.
Even it's the date that's being rumored when APC will receive them. So for him, it's a date and
let me tell you, that's why everybody has his method. I say it's Bala's method and Asiwaju's method. Let me tell you, if I'm interested, if I'm a governor, fellow governor want to decap, I can pay a physical visit to that governor for the sake of our party.
But we don't know how many secrets they do.
That's what I'm saying. I say I can. I'm not saying he has not.
Yes.
I can. Just to hear firsthand from the person. I'm telling you, see, inclusiveness will pay you better in politics than exclusiveness, no matter how you look at it. Inclusiveness, even enemy, inclusiveness, because you keep him under your watch.
Under your radar.
You just have different layers of the radar.
Just circle it.
That's right. So you think Asiwaju trust all these governors jumping ship? Go and sit down.
Okay, all right, that's for PDP and Bala Mohammed. Then also we heard the news yesterday, not a good one, or that's much. Wale Edun, the Minister for Finance, a coordinating minister for the economy, we heard that he was flown abroad, that he suffered a stroke. From what we gathered that it's quite severe. It may not look as if he's coming back soon.
From here, I wish him a speedy recovery. But that is somebody's father we're talking about, somebody's husband. So we'll pray for him. He's in Nigeria.
Somebody's father, somebody's uncle.
We'll pray for him for a speedy recovery. But having said that, this shows that as human, there are limits of what you can do at a certain age. Age is the limiting factor, whether we like it or not. The speed at which you were running 20 years is not the same speed you are running at as of today. So when we're saying that what we need is competence, somebody that has the physical strength to tackle Nigeria's problem, people don't get it. Yes, stroke can happen to a younger person, but what is the percentage? At a certain age, it is rampant, which induces stress. So it had happened to him, and who is taking over from him? What is planned to replace him? See, at this time of our history, we need somebody that is very competent and young, that has the capacity, that has the strength to tackle Nigeria's problem. Nigeria's problem is not lightweight. See, we need someone that will sit up late in the night to look at how to restart our economy. This is a country that is on oxygen. So when most of us complain, people don't get it. A country that is on oxygen, why borrow to go and fund some elephant project? So maybe those jobs, most of those things are going to him. Why borrow? Not to fix the critical infrastructure, to go and start new projects. No, into such projects when you are balanced, when you are not life support. As of today, do you know how many people calling him? Federal government has not paid virtually nobody from 2025 budget. The blame stops as his death. Is the Minister of Finance. Why have people not been paid? What excuse is he giving? Ministers are on him, National Assembly are on him, Nigerians are on him. So we must get somebody that is young, vibrant, competent. That is key. But he must have the physical energy to run, to handle Nigerian issues.
Okay, for now that we just gathered that the economy is recovering, that there's stability. Of course, Okonjo-Iweala told us that, and whether we like it or not, the macro side of the economy is doing well. Maybe the Bible talks about if the cloud be full of rain, they empty themselves, and just like when we were expecting that the clouds are already full, they're going to be having a downpour economically on us. The minister took ill. Now, if somebody is coming in that position, it's going to be like maybe starting or trying to understand. Of course, we know that Cardoso has replaced him in the team that is going to New York for IMF conference. It's quite a setback for the Nigerian economy.
Yes, certainly. It's not going to be easy, if he doesn't recover quickly. We hope he recovers quickly, and even though he recovers quickly, he would need some time to rest, and I would encourage him to maybe take time out to rest, if you understand, because at the end of the day, you are still a father to people, you are still a husband or whatever and all that, so uncles and all that, so and there are many Nigerians that can do the same thing or even do what they are doing better. So just like you said, anybody can be sick.
I know you're a chartered accountant.
Yes,
I can recommend you.
Anybody can be sick.
Okay.
So that said, they say about the economy, right? They say you watch the music or the dance from where you're standing. You watch the dance from where you're standing. When we try to politicize this a little bit, at intellectual level, macro level, what I've always said is some economic index is a little bit stabilizing, but it also depends on where you brought it from. We're buying fuel at 165 naira, and now we're buying at 900 and something naira. You have enough money to stabilize those. Okay, no doubt about that. So, and when you look at the people that are going to judge at the end of the day, they are at micro level. Barbers, bricklayers, people paying transport to work. These people have nothing. This network that draws from the micro index, micro capacity, micro security into the dispensable and disposable income of individuals. That architecture is flooded by corruption, is hijacked by corruption or ineffectiveness. And this is what they need to do. He's talked about 2025 budget not being implemented already. I can tell you that contractors are still being owed for work completed for over 4 years in federal agencies, work completed over 5 years in federal agencies, work completed over 3 years in federal agencies. Corruption tells the new MD, the new DG, the new executive secretary to pick his friends that he just gave a contract to recently and pay them.
But it's supposed to be FIFO.
It's supposed to be first in, first out. Supposed to be FIFO, first in, first out. A job already certified should be paid. Just recently, we saw contractors that were even demonstrating at the federal secretariat. They've not paid them for 2 years, for 3 years. And you see a newly appointed DG or MD or whatever paying for the job you just did today. Meanwhile, the building, the headquarters you are using was built before you came, you inherited it. The office you are spending, you are using, it was built before you came, you inherited it. So does it mean that all work in progress when you were appointed will not be paid for? So you see this corruption. I see what you need to tackle this nonsensical corruption. Ask every DG, every director general, every MD, let us see your financial statement as to where you are standing. What are you owing and what do you have? I said today, snap it and send. Why are these this way? What is happening to this? What are the debts you met on ground? What are the jobs did? What are the services rendered? These are Nigerians, because these are people that are going to work against this government, because whatever it has a micro level, let me tell you, if we have $10 trillion, $50 trillion in a foreign reserve. How does a Nigerian know that? You need to use that security to magnetize prosperity and progress, productivity, physical infrastructure and digital infrastructure that will aid productivity, so that somebody who wants to fabricate can fabricate things and sell. If this thing got broken by the patch of this, I don't need to go to China to get it. It should be fabricated there. So people that want to do that, this pole should be fabricated here. People that want to do that should be able to do that. Power infrastructure, what is going on? It's not about this foreign reserve and debt service ratio, which is really not looking too good anyway. You know, so you need to get those done. And also the life that epitomizes what you're preaching. The people in government should understand that federal budget is not for you. Public officers are the ones that will determine what income they will be paid, because they can go to strike any day they like ASUU is trying to do. You know, after determining that, the contract they are going to give out to private business people who serve government, they are still going to determine who they will give the contract. Services, training, whatever, is this same public officer. They think the budget is for them, and this is not getting to the people. And if there is any low housing estate the government want to, they say civil servant of these people first. What of other people that form the greater population of Nigeria? And those people are in the farms. You go to the farm, there is no security. Some of them are in the market. Go to road transport, there is no security. So we need to close that micro network. So when you say the economy is taking this, it depends on where you are standing. You know, if you are standing where the people are standing, you will let ASUU know that we have a year hand to really ensure that people can say, yes, my today was better than yesterday, and I'm hopeful next 4 years will be better, and they will think of voting for ASUU once again.
Okay, the issue of pardon has been rocking the news lately. Just a quick one. A lot of people believe that this pardon was more focused on people that have defrauded the state, that have gone against law and order, that have gone against the constitution, people that have been into drugs. I mean, the president has the power to give a pardon to whoever, enshrined in the constitution. I think section 31 or 37, I can't remember now, that empowers him to do that. But this is the bet. The caliber of people that are giving pardon under questionable circumstances. A woman that killed her husband, a man that has been into kidnapping, violence. In fact, one of them, this particular man kidnapped Ozekume, the lawyer. I mean, it's not encouraging.
Yeah, I like what you said when you're speaking. You say president has the power. Yes, he's not breaking any law. That has been settled. Yes, in as much as it's not breaking the law, there is a morality in everything we do. Let's leave the law as per that sort of it. You are pardoning somebody that was involved in drug. So are you telling us the work put in, maybe 3 years work to catch up with this person by NDLA? Are you saying it's wasted? People, my God, you should do your time. And this person has not even finished doing his time. So what example are we setting? So tomorrow now, if you hear tomorrow that people at the board at NDLA allow drugs in and make their money, and when Nigeria will start complaining, because this is a discouragement to them. I can't walk to catch Mr. Pablo, and he's been convicted after how many years of court case, maybe probably 10 years, and he's 2 years into his sentence, and he's been pardoned. It kills morale. It kills enthusiasm for you to do a work. The other man, they said he is into kidnapping. What benefit as much are we getting from pardoning these people? That's what you should ask. I can understand if you pardon something like this hush puppy. Yes, we'll go say we'll tap his brain, his IT brain. But what benefit? I'm not sure what is it. What people will pardon that? What benefit as a nation are we getting from them? What example are we setting to those youth out there? What are we setting? What's simply telling them to do it big? Once you do it big, somehow somebody that knows you will get to the president and you'll be pardoned. Okay, how come he has not pardoned those Yahoo boys? Is it because they're small? Crime is crime, no matter who is committing it. If he must pardon everybody, then he should go ahead and pardon every person. You can't be selective. You can't just decide to select some people to make some group happy. He pardoned a former member of House of Rep that was caught pants down. Why? Politics. So until we see, there must be a gate to me. There must be something as a nation we are deriving from it, or we'll find out that justice system has sustained this person. Being a proof that this person was illegally incarcerated. Yes, but will fly. We'll be happy about it. Not these people that have brought us to our knees. Somebody has made our roads unsafe, untravelable. That was caught. He granted pardon.
All right. Some group said, one group said presidential pardon for criminals, a mockery of justice, a boost to lawlessness. Another one said Tinubu's pardon for drug traffickers, national disgrace, portray Nigeria as supporting drug dealers. Just in 2 minutes. Okay.
No, it's not you can say in 2 minutes. Let me make it very clear. Number one, I've always said you are not guilty of doing what you're authorized to do. If you do what the law authorizes you to do, you're not guilty of it. Now, when it comes to morality, our affinities are different because morality comes with philosophical affinity. For example, somebody like him now is seeing hush puppy as a less criminal, but it's not going to appeal to me that way, because that young man, what brain do you want to tap? The brain to tell lies? Did he manufacture any IT equipment? Did he develop any software? What are we going to tap into? Was it a final year student of engineering college, and he happens to find himself among terrible friends who now lured him into 419 and end up being a 419? What are we tapping into? So that's why you see, you can't make judgment. Your morality is not my morality. When you are saying you're making an excuse for somebody like Hush Puppy, I'm gonna get angry with you. You know, if it's a final year medical student, even before the judge, they can say, oh, temper justice with mercy, that if you send this boy to jail now for 5 years, the country will be losing a medical doctor, or one of the best medical doctor. Maybe out of peer pressure, he got into this. These are where the prerogative of mercy were meant to happen. A judge can exercise it, and the president can exercise it. So now that the law still allows the president to exercise it, then yes, we have the right to speak all we like, but our philosophical affinity with morality is different. You talked about drugs. You know, what drug is it? Marijuana?
70%.
I'm coming. Yeah, I know peddler is drug is wrong everywhere, but I'm telling you that marijuana is not even little of it or some amount of it. It's not even a crime in certain country today.
No, it is here.
I'm coming. It's not a crime in certain country today. So because these things do not have a strong yardstick, I have always said that too much powers are left in the hand of our president. Something has passed through a court system which is independent arm of government, but the president has power to change it.
Shouldn't be.
Then judiciary is not independent arm of government then, because mean that the president of a nation, he could choose to pardon everybody. You say pardon, oh, they say, why is he pardoning criminals? Who are those convicted? For you to be serving a jail term, what you committed is a crime. If it is a civil litigation, you pay fine. If it is a contract issue, two of us sign agreement on contract, I didn't pay you debt, I give you work, you didn't do. Those are on civil terrain. Whatever it comes, so I'm coming. So for
some of the challenges that
I'm coming.
These people that have been pardoned,
yes,
some of them could still come back to do.
That's why it shouldn't happen. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't happen. A president shouldn't even have power to change the entire judiciary. It shouldn't. It shouldn't have power. All we need to do is that our judiciary system, if we think the case was wrongly litigated, it should go back to the court. It should go back to the court. Maybe we use in those days, somebody, for example, now, somebody was wrongly convicted of raping any woman, yes, and in the future DNA technology came out to find out that the person was innocently accused. These are where the prerogative of mercy is important, because that our judicial system, it's operated by man, and there could be a fault in it. So it doesn't have to be president that will exercise that. Why not the Supreme Court justice? Why it doesn't have to be a president, the head of another arm of government, that will exercise that power? You see, fundamentally, when you hand over power to somebody, you can't completely control how the person uses it.
So that's why you have to control the power.
You control the power ab initio.
Okay, all right. Obi to Umahi, he said that what would decide election next, that's 2027, will be your track record. He said not tribe. But also to another person to Umahi, that's Sheyi Makinde, governor of Oyo State, says that, look, it's very easy for you to give information about, what's it called, what was used on the roads. Why are you going around? And Umahi turned around and said, don't talk to me because I'm a more senior governor than you.
I'm also a senior engineer than you.
Let's treat issues and not a trivial age. Age doesn't matter at a particular time. Of course, we are Africans. We know how to respect our people. But first of all, let me ask you that of Governor that's Umahi. He said tribe, that's Peter Obi said tribe is not what will determine this thing. Track record is what will determine 2027.
Of course, in this election, Nigerians have gone beyond tribe, religion, and ethnicity because he has not helped us. We've done it repeatedly, and he has brought us to where we are. So if he do the same thing, expect a different outcome, then you're a foolish man. So as it stands today, Nigeria has gone beyond even party lines. Nigeria has gone beyond party lines. Nigerians want to know who's going to be on the ballot. That's what matters to us. What Oyemayi is saying is what he should stay as a party man, as somebody that's invested in this government, to create the impression that his principal is doing well. Nigerians has accepted him. Igbo people are comfortable with him. That's what he should do as a party man. But the truth remains out there that Nigerians know what they need. Nigerians are more hungrier today than they were some 8 years ago. So a lot of things has gone backwards since they took over. So they are aware. And I think it was African that said it. The next election is between Tinubu and the masses, not even Tinubu and any party. It's between Tinubu and hunger, between Tinubu and insecurity, between Tinubu and poor economic policies they brought. It's between Tinubu and Nigerians. So whatever Umahi is saying, Nigerians will decide.
Umahi said he's challenging Makinde to a public debate and challenging him. He said, I'm a better engineer than you. I'm a more experienced governor or an older governor than you. Don't talk to me like that. Is that the matter we're talking about?
You know, they have a way of trivializing what is of urgent importance to Nigeria. They don't know the urgency at which Nigerians need help. They really don't know what Nigerians are facing. No, like I said earlier, you watch a dance from where you are standing. Where Umahi and Co are standing today is a high ground.
Yes.
And they are disconnected from the people. You know, they are disconnected from the people and they continue to do so because it's working for them. A man who was a governor, two-time governor, rather, he jumped to APC and nothing happened because the ruling party as at that time was APC. If you had jumped from APC, a ruling party to another party, they will say you have lost your seat. You know, so he jumped that time, they welcomed him. And he said because presidency as at that time was zoned to Southeast, and that was his reason for his jumping.
Yes.
That it is the time for a Southeasterner to be president. That was the reason for jumping. After jumping and declaring to be president, he was known, he was recognized. At the end of the day, he's today a minister. And they continue to think these gimmicks will work for them. Instead of focus on what was said, yeah, granted, there could be conditions where you might not have exact value for the kilometer of road done. But in this one, these jobs are already awarded. So you have them already. They're already awarded. It's not like you're speculating or whatever. At least give us the one that is awarded. Even though Bill of Engineering Measurement and Evaluation is an opportunity to remeasure what is done thereafter. In this case, you already have a value. It is a government job that is going to be done. You already have a value. You have a scope. Because three cardinal things that must be there for a project or tax to be effective is: one, the delivery date; two, the scope; three, the value. You can't remove these three. So you already have it. Why not just give it out? Or you say, oh, I don't have it off heart now. I can send it to you later. The public will pardon you than going into too many explanations. You understand? Everybody knows that road environmental conditions, site condition can make things to vary a lot. And in some places, even when you Google price of a kilometer for road, they're going to give you a range. Yeah. They're not going to give you a specific figure. Certain.
So within that range,
they're not going to give you a range.
What for
certain conditions, like by so conditions, certain range we apply.
Yeah.
You understand? And for the one that is already even giving out, you know it. For the one that is already on, you know it. There is a benchmark. You already have it. There's something, you call basic prices.
Yes.
These are basic prices with which the bill value is built. The unit prices are built up. So you know these things.
Yes. Forgetting whether there will be variance or not.
So you know those basic ones. So you could tell them, okay, I'll give you more details later, because you don't have to have all these things off heart. Why talking on television?
Do you think that APC will be concerned in losing some people like Pandlami and former Minister for Justice and Attorney General of the Federation? Some people are saying, don't lose these people. APC might just lose all these people. Is Pandlami that important?
I don't know how important it is for them, but for every party, you need every hand you can get. So losing a member, I don't think is the way forward. So for them from the north to say trouble should way into it, probably he holds sway there. So them demanding for him to stay means it's important. And remember, in politics, every hand is important. Okay. To play.
Peter says every hand is important in politics. Please, APC, don't lose your guys. Though we know some other guys are coming in now, but don't lose your guys. And our heart still goes to our dear Dr. Uma Ukpai that passed on during, I think it was even last week, but he showed that he was a good Nigerian.